What's going on, everybody? This is Bleeding Green Daily with Philly Fan 1987. So, more and more as we get more news and everything's coming out, Carson Wentz is still silent. It's looking, and the teams who missed out on Stafford are really trying hard to find a quarterback. There's about 5 or 6 teams looking for a quarterback, and that's just who we know is looking for a quarterback. Up to 11 possible teams could actually need a quarterback within the next 2 years, especially with things like Drew Brees' retirement, Big Ben possibly only getting 1 more year, Mitchell Trubisky obviously looking like a bum. There's a bunch of teams that are going to need quarterbacks. The Lions definitely need a quarterback. But you got other teams like Carolina who may be looking to move away from Teddy. You've got the Falcons who just hired a whole new coach and everything. They said that they want to keep the quarterback that they have, but I'm not sure. We'll see. I'm going to call everybody's bluff because everyone's not trying to push out their draft plans or push off their free agent plans to forecast it to all the other teams to let them know what they're doing. So I'm going to call everyone's bluff and say that all of those 11 teams will be somewhat interested in obtaining a quarterback of the future or a quarterback for this season. So it's looking like Carson's going to be gone. It looks like after people lost out on Stafford, there is a shortage of what people consider to be premier quarterbacks that are going to be available. Yes, Carson had a horrible year, but most people actually believe that he could get better and he could do better with better coaching and a better situation, i.e. getting away from the Eagles. They're looking at all the stuff that's happened over the years with the Nick Foles saga, the message that came out of the locker room about his leadership. Then the next year, people were questioning him, and then he has an off year. So all of these things together mixed with light coaching and all the crap going on with our front office and Doug Peterson. So people are thinking that he just needs a situation change. So, which is kind of understandable, and if that stuff got fogged up in his brain and you're the top guy, you're the face of the franchise, so you probably know a little bit more about what's going on in the front office, and you're probably talking to these people a little bit more than everyone else. It can be a bit of a distraction. Now, his mechanics definitely lack a little and need some work there, and if he was stubborn and not taking the coaching, that could definitely contribute to his falling off as well. But we're not here for neither of that. That's not our issue anymore. He's getting traded. And I believe, while people think the Colts is the best situation for him, I don't care what the best situation is for him. Love him as a quarterback, want him to stay, really thought he could fix himself and get it together, really think he could have led us to a championship. But you want out, and I can't blame you completely, but part of it is like, dude, if you want out, you out. Like, I'm not about to continue sitting here kissing your butt and trying to get you to stay. I'm not going to beg you to stay if you want to leave. So you want out, but you don't have a no trade clause. So you go wherever we send you. If we send you to the worst team in the NFL, that's where you go. If we send you to the best team in the NFL, that's where you go. We send you somewhere in the middle, that's where you go. When you want to leave, it's about us getting what's best for us, not you getting what's best for you. So yes, the Colts will be the perfect situation for him. Really good offensive line, pretty good defense. He's got the coach that he wants. But the better situation for us would be if a team above the Colts, because they have the 21st pick in the first round, and they weren't willing to dish out a first rounder for Stafford, so it's kind of hard to think that they're going to push out a first round for Carson. But with all that said, I think he's going to the Bears. I think the Bears will give us their first round pick, and I think he's probably going to officially be traded to them by the end of the night, but it won't be official to us until after the Super Bowl. So I think that's where he goes. And that's for them to figure out what they do with Nick Foles. That's for them to figure out what they do with Carson Wentz. That's for them to figure out if they're going to be able to fix him. That's for them to figure out what they do with Mitchell Trubisky. Give me the first round pick. Take him. Let's move. Now, with that first round pick, things get a little tricky. People want to just give Hurts an opportunity and just give him a chance and let him go out there and just take the job. And while that's good and all great, if my man's was talking about creating creating competition at every level, that's not good and great. Go get this quarterback some competition as well. And I'm not saying go get some third round pick guy. I'm not saying go get some this, that, and the third guy. I'm saying go get Trey Lance. I understand Hurts is pretty good and this, that, and the third. But we've also seen him get beaten out. He's lost his starting position. I want to say he's lost his starting position. So not in the NFL, in college. So there were some quarterbacks that was better than him. And while he played at a high level in the small segments that we saw of him last year, I'm not sold on 4 games. I don't want them to just be nice to Jalen Hurts because of what happened with Carson Wentz. Nice is not the word. I don't want them to baby him and give him the position just because of what happened with Carson Wentz. I want him to outright beat the guy that he has to face in competition, win it, and then give us reason to go forward with him as a quarterback. If he does that, then it's his position and it's his until he loses it. If he loses it. But I'm not into just giving people positions. Doing that, especially under the same management and under the same protocols as Wentz was under, would create this situation where you think you're entitled to the position and you're entitled to what you have. No, I can't trust these guys in the organization because they've ruined situations with coaches and with quarterbacks. So, use this ammo. We're not going to get to the 6th spot probably anytime soon because I don't believe we'll ever be as bad as we were, even with Jalen Hurts as the quarterback. Even if he's not it, I think he can win a little bit more than 4 games. So, if you guys think that Trey Lance is the guy, which I think he has a pretty good arm, he has pretty good athleticism. It appears that North Dakota State University dishes out some pretty good quarterback talent. The last guy, Stick, probably wasn't a premier quarterback, but Lance seems to have a lot of potential. I think the guy has a big arm. The guy's about 220, but when he starts to play with the league, he'll probably throw on 20 more pounds, putting him at 240. So he's pretty good in the pocket. It seems like he has everything going for him. I've seen it to everything after Trevor Lawrence is up in the air. I don't see special talent from Fields. I don't see special talent from Wilson. So if we just getting, I don't want to waste a pick getting guys that could potentially be bust. Every year there are about 3 or 4 quarterbacks who everyone hypes up, saying they're going to be great in this league and they're going to do this, that, and the third, and they do nothing. So if these talking heads are talking up these guys, then I don't trust them. I would go with the lesser known, coming from a school where we just got Carson Wentz, who's had done a pretty good job of developing guys. They have a pretty good winning culture, and the kid looks solid. Let me go with that. And I think people think that he's on par with Hurts, but I actually think his arm is a little bit better than Hurts. in my opinion. Hurts' arm is the only thing that stops me from going with them. Hurts' arm is nothing bad. Hurts' arm is actually pretty good. But I've been spoiled with McNabb. I've been spoiled with Vic. I've been spoiled with some of Sam Bradford's throwing mechanics. Some of those balls were damn near perfect and pretty darn good. Then Carson Wentz's arm. I like the big arm. I like the big arm. I'm just going to tell you that. So if we can get this big arm talent and Trey Lance, let's say we don't need to get up to use the 6th pick. Let me get Smith or Pitts with the 6, and then give me Trey Lance with 20. If you think Intel's telling you you're not going to be able to get both, then go ahead and get me Trey Lance with 6. Kill me later, but I'll take the talent and take him above where he's valued, knowing that I'm not going to get a chance to get him again. And then take the best defensive tackle, offensive tackle, down at 20, or whatever the best talent is at 20. And we have a high 2nd round, we have a high 3rd round, we have a high 4th round. Make sure you're solid on those picks. So build me up a good team, and let's go from there. One last thing that I want to mention is the silence on players. The players are pretty silent about Carson Wentz. If they're that silent on Carson Wentz, tells me there's some other stuff that was going on in that locker room, and it just tells me that there's more to the story than what we know. It's more than just Doug Peterson. It's more than just Carson Wentz and Doug Peterson. It might be a little bit of that respect factor. I know Adam Kaplan and Mosher came out and was talking about how that there was events, or maybe this was the Inquirer podcast. Can't remember quite which one it was, but one of the podcasts was talking about how they would have events like Carson Wentz has a baseball camp every year, and all the guys would come out and participate, but Carson Wentz wouldn't go to their stuff. So it's like you can't take the time out to do these things. People have already questioned your leadership ability. Now, we may not think all these things are important, and if we're winning, those things are not as important. But we lost this year. We had a horrible season. You doesn't appear like you were able to gain the respect and camaraderie of your fellow teammates. They said that there were some issues getting you to be accountable for the mistakes you were making until Doug had talked you into coming out and talking to everybody about it. So it's a lot more. I'm definitely sure Howie and Lurie are responsible as well. But that's it. That's all I got for you today. So recap of everything that I said. I think Wentz goes to the Bears. Wentz goes to the Bears for at least a 1st round pick, if not more. So we'll have the 6th pick and the 20th pick. They'll take him, and he'll be on for $23 million this year. They could easily drop Nick Foles and Mitchell Trubisky and probably make all that money back that they would owe those two, whatever money they would offset whatever they're taking on with Wentz. They've got a pretty good defense. Not sure how good the offensive line is. I'm pretty sure the Colts' offensive line is better. But he gets to go, and he'll be closer to his hometown. His family will get to see him a little bit more. And he'll have a new and different situation. Not as much of a media platform as the Eagles. Not as many cameras in his business and in his face. Probably not too many leaks or anything like that. He goes to an Andy Reid guy who could probably manage the situation a little bit better. So yeah, and then you've got a okay GM in Ryan Pace. And I wouldn't even say okay. probably a better GM because of the talent that they were able to acquire on defense. And on offense. So yeah, you're going to a pretty good situation. It's not a crapshoot. Eagles would get the 6th and 20th, if not more. We get rid of Carson Wentz's cap space for next year. Take a big hit this year, but for next year we're good. If we do decide to go quarterback in the first round, whether at 6 or 20, or if we use 20 and another pick to move up to get somebody, that person's cap number is going to be relatively low. It's not going to affect us too much. And we let him and Hurts battle it out. The reason I would say get a quarterback this year is because if Hurts can do well enough to get us at least 6 or 7 games, 6 or 7 wins, we're not going to be anywhere near the 6th pick to be able to get another premier quarterback. So even though the class is better next year, we're not going to be able to get high enough to get that, nor are we going to give up enough draft capital and move up and do a Carson Wentz like trade again, especially with the situation we were just in. So if you believe that you need a guy and you're not quite sold on Hurts, go get Trey Lance now with the 6th pick or the 20th pick, or place the 20th pick with a late pick and move up and get the guy. Would love to see a scenario where we could get Smith or Pitts and Trey Lance, and I think that would be beautiful, and we use the rest of the picks to address whatever situations we need to address in the draft. I think that would be beautiful, but it is what it is. Definitely appreciate everything Carson Wentz did for us, especially with the Super Bowl and putting us in position to get the first place spot so we can get it. He put his knee, ACL, MCL on the line, tough as nails. Great quarterback for what we had and for how long we had him. Unfortunately, the situations, a lot of which we don't know and that were unforeseen and in the background, which I'm sure will come out after he's traded, but the situation was just fraught. So that is what it is. This is Philly Fan 1987. This is Bleeding Green Daily. Have a great day.